can begin with this one. Um, Hi. uh, so I'm just going to start off by saying that the title to this video is not clickbait. It is not a way for me to gain viewers. It is not a way for me to gain subscribers or sympathy or anything of that matter. The title of this video is 100% real because, well, there was some tragic news revealed recently. Uh, and this affects people like me who had childhoods and grew up with lots of media. Um, if you're unaware, the creator of the Dragon Ball franchise as we know it, mangas, animes, and all, Akira Toriyama, has passed away. I received this as a notification on my phone, I believe today, while I was sitting on my couch in my living room. I get a notification on my phone from like Google News or something, and it's read something along the lines of Akira Toriyama has passed away. And the first thing that popped into my head was, what? So frantically, I tapped that notification as fast as I possibly could, and yep, it's legit. It is not some YouTube drama or anything of that sort. Nope, he is really gone. Um, that's a pretty big blow. So, and Dragon Ball is one of those things that was a part of my childhood. Not in the same vein as something like, say, Gran Turismo 3 or something, but to the same extent. I loved Dragon Ball. My first ever exposure to Dragon Ball was a game called Dragon Ball Z Sagas. We had it for PlayStation 2. Here it is right here, actually. I have it with me. Um, but yes, this was my first actual exposure with Dragon Ball. I didn't know anything about the anime. I didn't know anything about mangas. This was how I knew Dragon Ball. Um, this game is also not one of the best Dragon Ball games out there. Just saying, this is a digress moment, but that's just me. But yes, this was my first foray into Dragon Ball, and really, I didn't really I didn't really play the game a lot because I really sucked at it as a kid. I did not know anything about it or how to play it, but I did like to turn it on to watch the cutscenes. For those of you who don't know, the cutscenes in Dragon Ball Z sagas are actually pretty well done in the sense that they don't use any sort of in-game graphics or pre-render cutscenes or anything like that. No, what they do is they actually took snippets from the actual anime. So by watching the cutscenes of Dragon Ball Z sagas, I was getting into the anime of Dragon Ball, and I just remember I always like I said I always turn the game on to watch those cutscenes. I still do it every now and then. They're fun to watch. It's like the perfect summary of like early Saiyan saga to Cell saga in Dragon Ball for anybody who's not privy on plot and whatnot. but But yeah, I mean, that was my first real exposure to Dragon Ball back then. Again, I didn't know anything about there being an anime or mangas or what have you. I just knew it as the one game, and when I finally discovered that, hey, this is actually a TV show that comes on, and I started watching it, and it's one of those things where you watch it and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this. I think my first actual exposure to the anime of Dragon Ball was not of an episode, but was actually through the movie Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan. I think one day I was playing Dragon Ball Z Sagas, and my cousin came over, and he had with him a copy of, Broly the Legendary Super Saiyan, and popped it in a DVD player and watched it, and I loved it, of course. And it's crazy because I was seeing all the characters you play as in Saga. You see Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Piccolo, and all them. Like, I play as those guys, And there's even one character. There's even an unlockable character in Dragon Ball Z Sagas that is Broly for some reason. Broly is an unlockable character in Dragon Ball Z Sagas, and he's the most broken thing in that game. I swear. He like one shots almost everything. Of course he does. He's like one of the most powerful characters in Dragon Ball. But yeah, like seeing him in the anime too, just kicking everybody's butt is like, wow, this is amazing. I actually have the copy of that movie too. This I believe this is the same copy my cousin had with him, and he just let me have it. But this is it right here. This is Broly, the Legendary Super Saiyan. Look how awesome that cover is and all that stuff. You know, it's just beautiful, man. It's beautiful. This is a really good movie. It's one of my favorite Dragon Ball movies, by the way. I love Broly, Legendary Super Saiyan. So really good, and my heat came on. Great. But yeah. So with all that in mind, you know, hearing that Akira Toriyama passed away was well, so far the most devastating thing that happened this year. I'll tell you that much right now. Um, Many people have already made videos about it already, so I'm nowhere near being special or anything like that. And I'm sure this has impacted the Dragon Ball community in a way I can't even begin to imagine. This would be like if for some reason like Sega or something like that stopped making video games, like Sonic himself just died out, or like if Nintendo went bankrupt. You know how devastating that would be to people. I assume that Akira's passing away is the same with the Dragon Ball community, but I digress. I'm not really a part of any communities, and I'm not really what you would call a die-hard fan of Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not the type of guy that like owns every piece of media the Dragon Ball has. I'm not a person that owns every figurine or every manga ever made. I don't own all of that. Um, what I do own, I can show you, is this is all the games I own of Dragon Ball. As you can see, it's not much. However, putting the games aside, here. Oh Jesus Christ, God. Here is all media I own of Dragon Ball. There you go. You see right there. But I'm not done yet, because I have more media. You can barely see it. Oh my god. Here we go. There we go. That works. There's even more Dragon Ball media for you. Look at that. Look at all of that. So, a tiny stack of games and like two full stacks of movies and episodes and whatnot. You know, I love Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is like my thing. It's like Dragon Ball Z is like my second favorite anime of all time, right next to the original Dragon Ball, which is my favorite anime of all time. I love it to death. Amazing soundtrack, amazing characters, iconic locations, and just everything about it, man. And Akira Toriyama is responsible for all of that. If he never got into making manga drawings or whatnot, Dragon Ball itself would not exist, and without Dragon Ball, a lot of mainstream animes we know nowadays would not have it as a structure for their animes. Like you watch some of these animes, and hang on a second, you watch some of these animes, and like you see how similar they fashion their anime styles after Dragon Ball. And Akira Toriyama passing away is something that no one expected. No one wanted to happen. But all I can really say is there was a letter that was released, and in the letter it said that they, at least I'm paraphrasing and making heavy assumptions because I have a terrible memory. Which is how I can recall events from my childhood, right? If I have such a bad memory. But anyway, I believe in the letter they said something in the line like you don't really need to send out any sort of condolences or anything like that, flowers or stuff like that. But I'm gonna respect it. But again, out of pure respect, because I love this franchise so much, and this is something that I've held dear to me for a long time. To Akira Toriyama and all that he's done, for not only my childhood, but for anime as a whole, for this world. Thank you for everything. You will be greatly missed by not only me, but by everyone out there in the world who has read your work, watched your work, played your work, whatever. You know, you have changed the lives of so many people through your mangas and animes and games and whatnot, your movies. You've changed the lives of so many people. You've impacted more than you think you have. You have influenced more than you think you have. You've done more than you really think you have. You know, like, like when a big music artist makes like their hit song. The Temptations with My Girl. You obviously it's a big hit, but it's one of those things where you really did a lot more than you think you've done with it. You think you made it big, but you don't understand how it impacts people. But it's the same thing with this. It's like Dragon Ball will always and continue to be one of the most iconic and celebrated animes of the world. Like I said, it's something that will never leave humankind until we all go extinct. Songs can die out eventually, but something like a show like Dragon Ball, the manga, that's something that can be enjoyed by generations upon generations. My kids and grandkids, when they're young, they can experience Dragon Ball and they'll love it. And they grow up to have children and grandchildren, and then they can watch Dragon Ball and love it. It's just something that will continue down from generation to generation to generation until the heat death of the universe. And that's the greatest thing about stuff like this. We're gonna miss Akira Toriyama. I mean, God, I'm gonna miss that man. Like, oh, I'm gonna miss him so much. Along with everyone, I'm gonna miss him so much. But at the same time, he's not dead because we still have things like Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan. We still have Dragon Ball Z. We still have Dragon Ball. We still have the games and all that stuff. His legacy lives on. And what a legacy he left behind, man. But his legacy will live on, continue to live on in us, in his work. So in that regards, he's not dead. Physically, yes, he's gone, but spiritually, in our hearts, he's never dead. In our memories, he's not dead. We can always recount. Oh, I remember back when I was a kid. I used to come home from school and turn on the TV and watch Dragon Ball Z all day long. Oh yeah. We can recount as many childhood memories as we want of Dragon Ball Z, you know, but Akira Toriyama's passing is something that no one expected. I didn't expect it. I mean, not to sound morbid or insensitive here, but death really comes for us all, and sooner or later, we're all gonna die out. I'm gonna die soon. Jesus Christ. I swear I'm not trying to be morbid or something like that. It's just, I'm trying to make a point. We're gonna die. Death is a natural thing. Our human bodies are not made to live thousands upon thousands of years. We're all gonna die out soon. So it's natural, but it hits you hard because you don't expect it. Think of it like an explosion, right? Explosion that happens off in the distance. You see the plume. You see the plume. You see the thing go into the ground, go, poof, but you don't actually hear or feel the shock wave until like seconds afterwards. Like an explosion just happened, but you don't feel it or hear it until seconds later, and then it's like, oh crap, an explosion happened. Oh god. It's the same thing with something like this. It's tragic. It's sad, and I'd be lying if I said I was not hit hard with that. I would be lying if I said that didn't hit me hard. It did. I'm not really a type to show emotion on camera or all that stuff. Not saying I'm a stone cold, heartless dude. I have emotions, but I'm not the type of guy that comes on camera like, God, I can't believe he's gone, man. I'm not like that. But I can be straightforward and say that this is tragic. I'm saddened by it. I'm gonna miss Akira Toriyama. I would have loved to see what he comes up with, what he would have came up with next. In regards to like a game, the new anime Dragon Ball Daima, and other works. I would have liked to have seen what they would have come to. But that was the what if scenario. But we can't undo what's been done. He's gone, but he's never forgotten. So if there's anything I want you to take away from this little video of mine is watch Dragon Ball. Love Dragon Ball. Tell others about it. Recount your favorite or least favorite memories with Dragon Ball. Just live it. Not in the sense that you become an avid fan. I'm not saying this is not me trying to say not like go watch Dragon Ball. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Like no. You're free to do what you want. But I'm saying like if you are like me and you love Dragon Ball, then watch the show, play the games, watch the movies, participate in discussions or what have you. Because by doing so, you're never leaving Akira Toriyama. He's never dead in that sense. You're always gonna have him right there with the games, the anime, the movies, whatever. He's always gonna be there with you. And like I said, you can sit down with someone or a group of like-minded people, laugh, have fun, make jokes. But Akira Toriyama, we will miss you. I will miss you. The world will miss you. You've done so much for people you don't even realize. Your your mangas, your animes have continued and will continue to inspire newer people to take up, drawing in a manga like style. You may like people may become the next big manga creator or what have you, but what you have left behind in this world will never fade away. It will never die. And you are one of the most influential people in this world because like I said, a lot of modern anime foundations like actiony animes kind of have hints of Dragon Ball to them. You can't deny it. Whether it be like the main character being a glutton for food. Well, Goku's a glutton for food. uh, Big flashy fighting sequences. Dragon Ball Z has big flashy fighting sequences. Stuff like that. A lot of things that we know today would not exist without the great and creative man that Akira Toriyama was. And you know, I wish I had more to say. Honestly, like I said, I'm not the biggest die-hard fan of Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball, but I'm not like, oh my god, you remember in like manga issue 132, page 52, paragraph 4. Like, I'm not that kind of fan. like, like if you asked me, like, if you showed me a scene of a Dragon Ball episode and asked me what was the name of the episode, I would never tell you because I would never know. But yeah, this was actually supposed to be a different thing altogether. This video, this was actually supposed to be something completely different, but they'll have to wait because this is far more important. So yeah. So once again, Akira Toriyama, thank you. We love you. We will miss you. And again, just thank you for all that you've done for the anime community, for this world, for people, because Dragon Ball Z, along with many other things in this world, have been used as a source for somebody having, bad days or just being upset and they just want to unwind and just relax with a nice Dragon Ball episode. You just you just can't forget something like that. You can't forget it. And it's all thanks to him. So that's my 2 cents on it. This was probably a very scatterbrained video, and it probably made no type of sense. So I'm probably most likely just repeating a lot of the stuff I've already said. But yeah, I mean, I could pad this thing out by going over every piece of Dragon Ball media that is currently on my desk, but I won't do that. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna miss Akira Toriyama. We all are gonna miss Akira Toriyama. And you've made it big when people can constantly refer to you by name. So thank you, Akira Toriyama, and may the Lord bless your soul. I sincerely hope you're with the Lord now. And yeah, like I said, this was meant to be a different thing, but I'll have to wait for next time. Until then, it is 5:13 in the morning, and I have not slept yet. Because I had to do this. I had to. You don't understand. I had to. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. So, yeah, with that, thank you for watching. If you have any memories of Dragon Ball or you want to share a few words, put it down in the comment section below. I'll read it. I promise you, I will read it. Uh, if you got any questions for me regarding Dragon Ball, I may not be able to answer most of them, but feel free to ask anyway. And as always, like, comment, subscribe if you want. You don't have to. I'm not gonna force you. But yeah, a tragic event has happened in 2024. We just can't seem to get away from them nowadays. We have to have at least one. But here's to hoping that this is only one in a small, small, small few for this year. But this is definitely a big one. And yeah. So, thank you for watching. I will guess see you next time I do the video I wanted to do, which I'm actually pretty excited for. But until then, go watch Dragon Ball. I'm just kidding. Yeah. So this is over. Goodbye.